Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to our My Turn to Own's home ownership program where we have this event called Wealthy Wednesdays. Thank you so much for investing in yourself this evening by being on this call. My name is Shanae, and I'm here to let you know what the ground rules will be for this evening's meeting. So, first and foremost, everyone will be placed on mute upon entry, and if you do have something to say, please feel free to use the chat box. If you do want to speak, please raise your hand. We'll be more than happy to call on you. Once we call on you, you have about 10 seconds to say what you have to say, and then you're being placed back on mute. So, again, thank you so much for your time. And without further ado, Miss Chrissy.
Thank you, Ms. Shanae, and good evening, everyone. As she mentioned, my name is Miss Chrissy, and I'm here to let you know that our mission at My Turn to Own is to raise the rate of home ownership to 75% for all. Some of the things that we offer here at My Turn to Own is credit remediation, micro mortgage financing, credit builder loans, down payment assistance, courses and events like this Wealthy Wednesday Zoom call, as well as agent matching. Tonight, we are going to have an open discussion with the housing counselor and learn a little bit more about some of the things that she does. But before we do, we have one special announcement from our lovely partner and project manager, Miss Africa Porter.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you so much, Miss Chrissy, Miss Shanae, for those warm welcomes and that awesome information. We're excited. I hope you all are too. First, I have a special announcement, as Miss Chrissy mentioned. New Year's Eve in Chicago. If you're in Chicago and want to rock with some of the people on this call, some of the people at My Turn to Own, and some other very special invited guests, please meet us Friday, December 31st at Gallery Gouchard. Beautiful, beautiful Gallery Gouchard, located at 436 East 47th Street in the heart of Bronzeville. This is a special event with comedy, a best dressed contest. It is the New Year's Eve Motown Showdown. We're looking forward to having a wonderful time. We have a bar on site, appetizers served complimentary, champagne for a toast. Oh, wow. We have tickets at $60 as well as $100 for couples. The DJ will be spinning originals, remixes, covers, and close relatives of your favorite Motown songs. Again, this is from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. on New Year's Eve in Chicago, Friday, December 31st at the beautiful Gallery Gouchard at 436 East 47th Street in the heart of Bronzeville. You can get the information right here in the chat group, and it's also on Eventbrite. Yours truly will be one of the hosts for this spectacular event with the president of My Turn to Own, Mr. Jamal Green himself. Without further ado, our special guest, known as the housing counselor, Ms. Keisha Irons. She's a senior housing counselor who has been in the housing industry for over 10 years with experience in foreclosure prevention, financial management, and pre-purchase counseling. She is dedicated to neighborhood revitalization and helping first-time home buyers achieve their goals. Please give a hearty welcome for none other than the wonderful, the intelligent, the expert in this field, Miss Keisha Irons, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Mobo, Ms. Williams, and Sister Africa for that amazing introduction. I definitely love what I do, and I'm so happy to be a part of My Turn to Own and assisting the first-time homebuyers out there that's saying, it's my turn. So tonight we're going to talk about what the housing counselor does. Like, what's my role? What do housing counselors do? How can I benefit you? It's always a pleasure to be a part of these journeys. When my clients win and when people around me win and they own their home, it's just a win for me over and over again. I say that all the time to my clients, like, let's win together. So I am so excited to talk about what I do and the role that I'll play in many of you all's lives if that opportunity presents itself, and I hope it does. So let's just jump right in to what the housing counselor does. What are we going to talk about? What are some talking points for tonight? We will go over the roles and responsibilities of a housing counselor. Why having a coach? Why do you need a coach? What's the importance of a coach? We'll talk about spending habits, how to budget, because that's going to be like the number one key step to getting into this home. We'll go over savings accounts. So having a savings account separate from your normal savings account just for the house. Very, very important. And why do you need $2,000 to $3,000? You know, most people say there's down payment assistance. There are some things down payment assistance will not cover. So we'll go over what that looks like. How long will this take? That's the main question. How long is this going to take for me? Now, I won't be able to give everyone their individual timelines, but I will give you some information to help for you to put yourself on a timeline. For you to say, okay, based on what Keisha just said, I feel I'm 6 months out. I feel I'm 3 months out. So checking the boxes, you know, so if you can grab a pen and paper, that will be so beneficial within this hour to take as many notes as possible. The more notes you take, the more you write these things out, it becomes real in your life. That manifestation, that all of that matters. Take the pen to the paper, and you'll hear me say that a lot as a counselor. So let's make sure we cover these talking points and get that information out to you about what housing counselors do. Roles and responsibilities of what I do. The responsibilities that I've taken over the years really include some of the following. I review finances, which includes your income, debts, assets, credit scores, and credit history. Now, this is different for some. I've heard people say, hey, I have a 720, I have a 800 even, and whatever the credit score may be, I have a 660. That credit score is not your credit history. So breaking the two down and making sure that you understand that just that credit score alone will not get you the house. But let's look at the history. Let's look at accounts that maybe or collections. You know, what do we do with the collections, the judgments, the liens? How long will things, have to be on there for lenders to say, oh, this is too recent. Is this old enough? Typically it's 12 months. I typically say if you've missed a payment on like a car note or something, like 3 months ago, you'll probably have to wait until September. Now there are some flexibilities based on lenders, but I'll give you the traditional process of what you'll see out there in the industry. And then I'll also give you some tips of different types of products that are out there that fit different clients' portfolios. And that's more of an individual one-on-one basis. But typically housing counselors go over that credit score and the credit history and give you an education on what that means. And they also should help you read a credit report. So I help clients read credit reports so that in the future, you know the codes. You've got to know those codings, those codes and what they mean, what they stand for, how to do disputes on your own. So initially, I'm working with you, but the training wheels come off and you know it, and then you can teach someone else. Preparing an action plan, that is another job that I have, another role. And that's going to list steps for you to achieve your goal. So in a first session, I may say, do these 2 or 3 things. Now I can load an action plan up with 11 items, but you'll be overwhelmed. So I try to give about 5 things and say, do this, and it's going to take you 8 weeks to do it. If you eat these foods, you'll lose 5 pounds just eating this, pineapples and this. I will give you a list, right? Just like a personal trainer. So I'm a financial fitness trainer when it comes to buying a house. So I'll give you those steps in an action plan that really lays it out for you to say, okay, I'm going to do this first, second, third, and so on. And then after I've completed that action plan, I'll go back and she's going to give me another action plan. So I'm going to check off everything and I'm going to say, great, we can move on to the next step. Analyzing your ability to purchase, very, very responsible. It's one of the responsibilities that I take very serious, because when I'm sitting down with the client and I have their pay stubs in front of me, their tax returns, bank statements, I want to really give them an accurate number on how much house they can afford before they get to the lender. So instead of going to the lender and them telling you we can approve you for $90,000, and the client saying, that's not enough money, having me on your team first says, okay, this is about how much they're going to offer you. Do you want to increase your income? Do you want to go and apply for a different job? What do you want to do with that 90? That can you do anything with that? So it gives you those opportunities before you have someone pull your credit and do a hard pull. I'm going to analyze and look at those numbers. I'm going to tell you what your debt to income ratios are so that you don't have to fear a denial. Everything that I'm saying is going to prepare you for that approval. So that's one of my major goals, is to say, let's get you to approval status. So where confidently you can walk in and get a loan. And the amount is something separate, right? That's all going to be based on how much you make. But getting you to that pre-approval, that's a part of my job, part of my responsibility. I'm going to also housing counsel should identify resources beyond what we do. So as a first-time home buyer, life is happening. Some have children, some have extended family, some are taking care of parents. There's so much going on that if I hear my client has more on their plate, we know housing is the goal. However, if there's other goals in your life and you're not sure how to achieve them, I don't want that to be a roadblock for you. So I'm going to identify some other services that help meet your needs while on the path to home ownership. That's a holistic approach. At that point, you're well equipped. You're not stressed out. I can't have you entering a contract stressed out. How will you even interpret that contract? Did you even read it? Were you thinking about other things going on in life? I really need your focus. And that's going to get us to the housing goal. So assisting you with other things going on in your life, I only can get that information from you. That comes through our counseling sessions. The first session, I may not hear everything about your entire life. It may take 3 or 4 or 5 sessions. If I'm working with someone and they're on a year track, maybe we've met and it's the 5th month, or maybe we've done 2 or 3 sessions in 1 month, but eventually I'm going to hear things because I'm here to listen. That's what counselors do. We listen. So I'm here to listen to everything that you have going on that's interfering with that goal or that's helping you with that goal, and help you break those things down for them to make sense in your life. So listening to you is very important. And if I hear things, I'll definitely make sure to reach out and send you other additional resources. Helping you understand your housing rights. Now that's big, right? When we're out in the market shopping, right? There are predators, there are scams, there's so much that if we're already ignorant to the process and just not knowing, we don't want you taken advantage of. I don't. And that's why I do this job, because I am all about educating folks on their rights, things that, have been on the books for years, but it's still like, oh, I didn't know that was illegal. I didn't know that I could report to the Financial Consumer Bureau about this merchant, about this car that was repossessed illegally, or that wasn't cleaned up on my credit. There's so many things that we're able to just educate about as far as fair housing rights and laws out there. So your housing counselor is there to support you in making that decision, whether it's a good deal or not. Right. So looking over those loan applications that are pre-approved, bringing those in and saying, hey, Keisha, this is a good interest rate. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great. Keep shopping, and just keep on shopping. I love when homeowners are shopping. So, just knowing that, again, there are sharks out there who are hoping that you're the little fish. And it's like, not with my housing counselor in my back pocket. So that's another point. So the next point, preparing a household spending plan that's going to help you manage any debt or expenses in the future and savings. So we talk about budgeting, but a house spending plan is saying that moving forward, this is what I'm going to spend as far as now I'm a homeowner. So I used to spend like this as a renter. These are things I bought. And as a homeowner, I can't spend like this. So what are some cutbacks we're going to make? What are some adjustments? Let's call them adjustments. People don't like to say cutbacks. What are the adjustments we're going to make? So changing what that budget looks like from when I initially met you to now we've grown to saving for that home, and what is it going to look like when you're a homeowner? Now, I'm not responsible for achieving your housing goal. That is not my job. I'm just in the passenger seat, in the back seat. Sometimes I'm in the car, You're driving. I'm just throwing advice, and it's for your direction to continue to stay on the path. I'm not going to steer you off. I'm always going to be honest about what's happening. I don't have, if it's not a happy moment, I'll tell you just straight up, like, this one area is not a good area. And I've understood the realization of that for clients, but it's not that you won't become a homeowner. It's just, when will you become a homeowner? So start saying that to yourself. When will I be a homeowner? It's not my responsibility when things change in your life to keep you on that timeline, but it is my responsibility to say, this is how we can shift the timeline to still meet the goal. So I am here to support you in your goals. And counselors, we don't provide legal services or advice. So that's really big to note as well, is that we don't, even if a client needs like bankruptcy advice, I don't give bankruptcy advice. I will just say that you may want to seek some legal attention here, or whatever the case may be. If it's legal, I won't go in legal areas unless it's housing. So that's a bulk of what my roles and responsibilities are. Now, you have roles and responsibilities as well. As a client, again, like I said, you're driving this, you are the conductor. This is your mission. I'm just happy to be a part of the mission. It's always exciting. So I'll need for the client that I'm working with to complete the steps that I put in the action plan. So that list that I'm giving you every 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, I normally, the most I'll do is a 90-day action plan, because some things can't happen. You have to give it 90 days. We have to wait for those credits, the credit bureaus to report on that credit card for 90 days. Let's see how that looks after 90 days or 6 months. Really depends on the client. So you'll have to complete those action steps. You're going to stay in contact with your counselor every 30 days or more frequently if you need the frequency. If you need that to be higher, I have clients that will email me once a week, and I have clients that will want to see me once a week if possible. And if my schedule allows, then I am totally with it, because it's therapeutic to say, this is a stressful process. So make sure every 30 days that, bug me. It's when I say bug me, this is you're driving it. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. So keep that in mind. Now, and I will tell you, some things that just you have to wait for. So, whether you contact me weekly or not, I'll still say it's a wait game. But keep in touch. Don't leave it on us to reach out to you. Always reach out to us, because we have hundreds, that we work with at a time. Provide accurate information about your income, debts, and expenses. So I will need to know what is going on in your life, as far as this is intimate information, your finances. I tell clients, I'm going to see your bank statements. You were going to give them to a lender one day, and they were going to be out in your business. So I want to see the bank statements as well. So if you're going to work with a housing counselor, you can start thinking consciously about how you swipe, or you can say, you know what, I'm just going to show my raw self. This is how I've been spending. This is what I need help on. Okay. So either way, this is a judgment-free zone. I'm going to look through those bank statements, and we're going to figure out the root of your spending habits. Another responsibility of that I really rely for my clients to have is to refrain from making large purchases. This is a huge one for me. Just like I said, for my role in giving you all your fair housing rights, for you, if you can just know, buying a house is the biggest purchase you're probably going to make. I mean, there are bigger purchases out there, but this is a big one. So I need my clients to refrain from making anything over $100, honestly, over $100, unless it's your day-to-day, of course, utility bills, things like that, but purchases, televisions, bed sets, things that I'm just consult with your counselor, because that should be in a savings. At that point, you can say, I have someone holding me accountable. She's going to check my bank statements until I reach the end. I don't do that for all of my clients, but for some, I'm I want to see them every 30 days. It just really depends on how much financial management they're seeking and exposure that they want in who they are. All right, so the next slide, what else what are some more responsibilities of a client? Because there are a few more. So contacting your counselor the day before your scheduled appointment if you need to miss an appointment. So we are very it's a lot. We have a lot that we are undertaking. And so make sure that you reserve space. This is a national movement and we want to help thousands of people get a home. So if there's a space for someone to take an appointment, go ahead and reschedule with us as soon as you know that you need to reschedule. That's going to help us along the way and just everyone in this mission. Provide requested paperwork in a timely manner. So you definitely want to have to know that when things expire, documents expire, when we're helping you put that application together, I may need new pay stubs, I may need new bank statements. So getting that into me within the week, 3 to 5 days is awesome. Notifying me when things change in your housing goals. So if you're like, hey, I have to take a pause, I'm going to go live with family and friends. Yes, I was renting. Just let me know so that I can update the file. And so maybe I'm not putting you on the same follow-up email trend. Attending educational workshops like Wealthy Wednesday. These are great avenues. HUD has wonderful avenues. As a counselor, I'm going to send you links of things you should. Here's a free training. Here's this. Always, immerse yourself in what it means to be a business owner. And for my business owners out there, this is just another business transaction. So attending and learning as much as you can is going to be recommended. And then, of course, seeking an attorney if you need one. I'll let you know at that point that that's going to be your responsibility to do. So sounds like
Hey, Ms. Irons.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Irons, this is so good. I've got some great notes here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know, right? You need that water break too, right? We got some great comments here. I want to give an opportunity, if I may, for the comments to be shared. Ms. Mobile, Ms. Chrissy, can we share some of the comments? There's one here that goes with what you just said about cutting back on shoes. That one kind of hit home for me. But, it's real. It's real. You kept emphasizing how this is a very big purchase, one of the biggest purchases that we'll make. So, cutting back on those shoes, it all adds up. Could you speak to that?
Absolutely. I mean, you want to have a place to put the shoes. So let's focus on the walk-in closet, okay? That's what I would definitely say for my shoe lovers, because I love shoes as well. And it's like, I think I need a storage for shoes. We only can wear 2 at a time, 1, 2. So, challenging yourself. I had to put myself, and I do this with my clients. I give you a 30-day challenge and I go on it with you. That's one of my things. I always go on it with you. And it's not the same challenge, but like, let's say the shoes, for instance. So I went on a challenge with a client to not buy clothes. I stuck on that challenge for 2 years. 2 years, I wore the same clothes, shoes, and that client was with me for 18 months. So even after the 18 months, I did not stop. I was like, this was a good challenge. So if it's things that you're struggling with, know that we all have struggled with something and we are in this together. Your success is my success is your success. We will motivate each other in all areas. So yes, things like, the want versus the need, how to shift the mindset from, do I need this? I need the closet, the walk-in closet. Because, you could even tear that down and rent that out. You can Airbnb a walk-in closet, and I'm joking. But just, you know what I mean? But you can't rent your shoes. Like, and there are places where you can sell secondhand, but, your house is, you can do all sorts of things. That's real estate. And so shifting what is bringing me money and what is causing me to spend money. What is this bringing me money? So just going in your house and doing an inventory. That's the last thing that I'll say about that. Take an inventory. I have clients that have done assignments where I said, write down every clothing item that you have and your kids have. I want you to write down 18 pair of underwear, 20 pair of socks. I got 5 pair of jeans. I got 20 skirts. Take a full inventory of each piece of clothing item and then sit back and just sit on that for a minute and see if you need anything else.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Irons. Very, very powerful information and well needed. Well needed. We do have a question here by Miss Alicia.
Yes.
She's asking, she's saying she didn't work for 9 months this year, but she did get unemployment. where she asked them to take out state and also local taxes. And she
Okay.
wanted to know, because she has been working for the past 2 months, can she still qualify for FHA?
So lenders are sensitive to people that were on unemployment. It really depends. I mean, there are going to be some strict lenders out there that say they want to see 2 years, but a majority are saying that, writing the letter about the COVID hardship, they're accepting COVID hardship letters. So you should be fine. When I say should, it just means that I need to look for that list of lenders who accept that letter. So that you're not.
Okay, so what I was trying to say, not state and local, state and federal taxes. Now, this was my first year being unemployed for a long time. I had lost my job in December last year. It was a job I had been on for 4 years. And a new company came in and started laying everybody off, which they laid off a whole lot more people this year too. So my thing is, I want to make sure that I'll be able to be a first-time home buyer because I still have streams of income coming in besides work. I have other income too.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looks like it's something I would have to look at on a case by case, like have all the paperwork in front of me. But again, like I said, it's never impossible. I don't want anyone on this call to feel, will I be able to be a homeowner? Yes, you will. I'm going to give you the requirements, just like if you wanted to be a doctor, this is what you have to do. If you want to be a lawyer, whatever you want to be, there's a curriculum out there that says meet the curriculum criteria. So we'll get you that criteria, Ms. Alicia. All right, any other comments? Should I continue?
Yes, we have one more.
Okay.
Looks like Brother Cameron Howard. He's asking, what about courses you are enrolled in?
Like college courses?
Personal development.
As far as like being a homeowner, or as far as, are you like a part-time student?
I'm saying like, would that you were saying as far as like, watch what your spending habits are. Because I'm enrolled in a course that I'm working towards trying to start my business. So it's
Gotcha.
like $200 a month. So I just want to know if that is something that I need to stop for a while or.
Well, it's not a need, it is a want. And if you are serious about buying a home, I would say free. Business owners always start free. So that same class is probably offered somewhere for free. If it's just that you need that moral support, there are so many agencies, even housing counselors, we help with that moral support in so many different areas. So that's where I will definitely leave that as free. And you can take it from there.
Okay, well, since I have a college student right now, that's always, this is the first semester that he had went away, and I feel like all my money is going to him. He's calling me every minute for money. So will you be able to assist with that as far as telling me how to handle that, or maybe make something within the budget for that or something?
Absolutely. That's a budgeting thing, but it's also, if you're not familiar with that campus and he's first-time college student, he needs to connect with the career centers and the staff the development centers, because there are so many free things. But as a first-time college student, they just are afraid to ask. They'll just pay for it instead of saying like, where are the events, or keeping up with like what is, speak with the dean. Let the dean know, like, I'm trying to make cutbacks. I want to help my child, but what are the free things? Talk to the advisors. It's so much that college campuses offer, and it's just something you can also budget for. Absolutely, we will put that in the budget. Good question.
Thank you.
Not a problem. You're welcome. Talking about spending habits now. So a habit is something you do so regularly that you don't even think about it. It's just you do it. It's a habit. Brushing your teeth is a habit. It's just a habit. Habits create patterns and routines in our day-to-day life. We're cooking, if you're in front of the stove, I know how to make my spaghetti. My famous spaghetti is, I can almost just do it blindfold, just put the ingredients in front of me and I'm making this. I just know how to do some things out of habit. the cleaning, grocery shopping, you know what to grab out of habit. This is just what you eat. The menu sometimes doesn't even change as much because you're just it's habitual. You're like, oh, yep, this is what we eat, the kids eat, doing laundry, all these things, filling up your gas tank. It's just a habit. It's like, it's not something that you think about, you just do it. And then of course, taking care of family and friends. For some, it comes natural. It's just like, I just have a habit of checking on my sister and making sure she's okay, and the habit of caring, right? So these habits, I want us to sit with them for a moment. And really, and these are not questions for you all to answer. I'm going to read them out loud, and I want you all to think about them. How often do you visit stores and walk out with more items than you planned? Just think about it. How often does food go bad in your refrigerator because there isn't enough time to cook? Food in the refrigerator going bad. How many miles per day do you drive? Per day. How many miles per day do you drive? How many miles per day did you drive yesterday? What was the miles yesterday, a week ago? All of last month, how many miles? Because this is a habit, getting in the car, just getting in, driving, filling up the gas tank. How often do you keep receipts and review your bank statement? How often do you give money to family and friends without expecting it back? How much bottled water do you buy per month? If you're one of those bottled water drinkers, could it be that could we switch that out for the filtered machine that maybe is $1,000, but it just makes more sense because you're spending $2,000 on bottled water? Do you pay cash or credit? Do you use credit or cash? Thinking about habits. Do I just swipe all the time, or am I going to the ATM all the time? What are your habits with that? How often do you buy food from a restaurant rather than the grocery store? Is it just a habit to say, I'm just a door dashing? Is DoorDash a habit? Uber Eats, is that a habit? Again, habits are things we just do without even thinking about it, or giving it a second thought. And then finally, do you tend to go grocery shopping without a list? Do you even know what you need when you go in the store? Is it just, again, a habit to say, oh, I'm so used to going to get pancake mix and syrup and this, and just that habit to where you're not even looking at prices. Like, oh, wait, pancake mix, they just said on the news yesterday, food prices for 2022 is going up 5%. 5%. So people out here who got a 5% raise, well, that's just a living expense you just got, because food also is going up 5% in 2022. So that habit of just eating pancakes and eggs, do you need to switch what you eat because food prices went up, because you weren't paying attention to pancake mix anymore? Now it's $7 a box. You're like, I don't care, I'm still getting my pancakes. Better get oatmeal. I'm gonna be the one tell you, like, do you like oatmeal? Because this, you about to buy a house. So those types of, not cutbacks, but habit realizations of, who we are today and where we want to go, and what are some things we're going to leave behind. Those are, again, questions to just sit on. How often do I do these things just without even thinking, just spending money? Somebody call cash shopping. Somebody cash out $5. Oh, I can send 5, and 5 just keep going, right? Let's look at those habits. So step 1, build a strong foundation. Financial stability, I'm going to read this, is the ability to manage financial risk and absorb financial shock. The ability to manage a financial risk and absorb, when it hits you, a financial shock. It provides you the ability to bounce back from it or withstand pressure, change, or stress related to your finances. So when you're stressed or something happened out of nowhere, and if you're able to bounce back, you're financially stable. If you're not able to bounce back, that's not financial stability. So getting there first when you're thinking about buying a house, getting to that, building that foundation of saying, I want to be able to bounce back if the plumbing system went out in my home. Show me you're bouncing back when the transmission goes out in the car. That's a big one. Because you should also be saving for that. If you drive a car, I'm going to make sure my clients have a car maintenance account. Start showing me in the next 3 months, you can put $40 in a maintenance account for your car. So when things come up, like the oil change, it doesn't come from your paycheck. It comes from your house, your car maintenance account. So all those different ways of thinking about saving, we're going to go over. Schedule those financial fitness sessions with your housing counselor. That's what housing counselors do. That's what we're here for. We're going to monitor your spending if that's what you want. It's going to be as strict or as lenient as you want it to be, because I can only be accountable so much. I can't get out the ruler and say, hit the desk, it's still going to be up to you. All right. An example assignment that I use with my clients, if you become a client of mine, they're not hard. I told you all I do them with you if you need me to. Why is it important to keep receipts? I want a couple of you to put in the chat box, if you can, what's the importance behind keeping receipts? Nobody keeps receipts nowadays. But why would I tell my clients to keep receipts? I want to hear from you all in the chat box. The importance of keeping, if I'm saying for 30 days, I need you to keep all of your receipts. And you're like, what? Where? You have to take a bag around with you. You want your receipt, man? Yes. You want your receipt? Yes. Let me get that in that bag because Keisha's gonna be asking for all these receipts for 30 days. And then I want you to take a picture just like this out of a box. Just screenshot it to me from your phone. Or when we're on a Zoom call, just show me the box. These are all my 30-day receipts. All right, let me see what came through. To be able to take things back. Oh, I like that one. To keep up with your spending habits. To make sure to see what you spent on a daily basis. I like that. Accountability. Yes, Miss Rhonda. Proof your spending habit. Okay, to be able to reconcile all of these. Definitely to keep track of spending. But when I say for 30 days, that's a long time. So to track spending habit, yes. And putting them in categories. So our banks are really good with giving us that pie chart, like, oh, you spent this much in gasoline. Oh, like my bank does that. Well, that's making us a little lazy nowadays. So keeping your receipts is not only good for all those reasons and above that you all gave, but also doing an audit on merchants. So I have clients, I want you all to do an audit on these people. We don't know Target. We don't know the owner of Target. We don't know the owners of these places. We're funding their children's dreams. And we want to make sure that that receipt matches the bank statement because it says pending. You leave the store, you look at your phone, it'll say pending like $17.99. But when we go home and go to sleep, if they haven't pulled it yet, we need to verify that they didn't go back and do it twice, that they pulled $17.99, didn't pull $18.23. So you have to give it a couple days. So at the end of the month, it's nice to have a box of receipts and just audit them. Auditing means take about 20 or 15 out. You don't have to do all of them, but just randomly select them, match them to the bank statement so that you feel confident, like, okay, this makes sense. This person took out this. Compare them to the bank statements. You're an accountant now. And it doesn't matter if you didn't go to school for accounting. You are an accountant for your business called home. So these are just some examples of what I like to do with my clients as far as housing counseling. Financial security, that's the goal. Financial security is the goal. It's the peacefulness you feel when your income is enough to cover all your expenses, right? It suggests that you have enough money coming in to cover those emergencies and future financial goals, that you're secure. So even if you're just stable, I want to get you to a place of stability because that security is going to come with being a homeowner for sure. You're now a part of the wealth group. You've stepped into saying, I'm securing, I'm making sure that financial security is mine for the taking. So that's the goal, is to get you to that place of financial security. Step 2, build your housing team. So step 1, and there's so many steps. You are gonna be like, you got a whole bunch of curriculums with multiple steps. But this is just for tonight when it comes to motivating you all on what it takes. Build the foundation first. Make sure your spending habits are in line. Then build your team. Because once you have your finances together, as far as knowing what your budget is, knowing how you spend, and I want it down to the T. Even if it's just a 2 months exercise, I want you to be able to I spent $79.82 on groceries last month, and that's a low number, but or I spent $211 and 85 cents. I want it down to the T. And then I also want the next month to stay to $200 if that's the budget. If you go over $11, you went over $11, but it's a strict thing. So after you build that foundation, then you build your team. That's the housing counselor. We've already been here. I'm already on a team. So after me is the lender, because it takes that housing counselor to get you to that foundation, that stability of saying you're ready. So once I say you're ready, And again, you're on the path to readiness, right? It's just about where you are in the process. It's gonna happen. So after me is the lender, the realtor, home inspector, appraiser, real estate attorney, and moving company. This is upfront fees that have nothing to do with your down payment assistance. So that question, remember, why do I have to save $2,000 to $3,000 for these people? I do my job for free. That I'm the person that doesn't, I'm not asking for anything out your pocket. I'm just asking for your time, which time is money. So thank you for your time. But lenders, they're gonna want, a fee for credit reports, loan origination fees. Realtors have fees, even though they're at the closing. Home inspector, that's an upfront fee. These are upfront fees. Gotta make sure you have money to move, even though you say family and friends. Just still set aside. Somebody has to get paid. A truck is needed. Things are needed to move. Not necessarily furniture. We're not gonna think furniture because a lot of my clients will say that, but 2,000 to 3,000, again, that's just upfront fees. It takes money to make money. Remember, getting this house is a money maker. You're buying a money maker. So it's gonna take money to make some money. And so again, down payment is 3.5% minimum of a home. So I don't like to throw out numbers without doing math. So I'm just gonna do some math on my phone really quick. Because it's like, okay, Keisha, you're telling me to save $2,000 to $3,000 for upfront fees. Let's say I want to buy a house for $175,000. Then your down payment assistance is going to be $6,000. So that's when you start looking for down payment assistance programs. But even if they don't go through, your next goal is to make sure that you at least have this saved as well, just in case all else fails. And that's not to say down payment assistance programs are going anywhere, but I have seen some come and go where people are now, they wait, where it was just like the list was so long, they had to cut it in half. And some people had to wait until the next round of grants, things like that. So if you were like, I have to wait the next round, within a year, you could save $6,000 if you make cutbacks. Or you just wait. But the point that I'm making is that for a house, $175,000, you need that $6,000 in addition to this 2 to 3. So it's the numbers. If your brain is racking, trust me that there are ways to make cutbacks. I've helped clients. Oh, I'm sorry. That is my alarm just to keep track of, because I will go and go and go. I want to make sure I have time for questions. And so your team members really matter. This was an assignment that I won't have y'all do, but I want you to think about. Think about your house you desire, draw a blueprint of your house, write out the details of your home. And then I want you to start confessing it to your neighbors, your family, your friends, your housing counselor. Confess it to everyone. Walk around with that. Even if you can't draw, walk around with the blueprint, look at the blueprint, make a collage of what your house is going to look like. I really need your minds to be that this is real. This is something that is real and it's tangible and it can happen. How long does it take? So that's another question. And I want to put a pause on this before we leave, just in case we have time. For those who want to share at the end, because what I do with my clients is I do have them speak it out loud. And we're in a big group tonight where, if you want to share and we have time, tell us what your home looks like. Because with 40 people hearing it, you can't help but for it to happen. The universe is working then in our favor. So if you want to share with us the number of bedrooms you're looking for, what kind of house you're looking for, know that you may have time to do that at the end here. How long does it take? Woo, big question. Like how long, like you said a lot, I need this amount of money, right? Which can happen. I've helped clients save $6,000, $17,000, all in less than 2 years by just doing these assignments and really staying like with them. Like, hey, how's this going? Okay, how's your mom? Okay, how's this? Just staying on top of it. Having a financial management team is important. How long will it take? That is, it's always the question. And I say, well, you have to climb. Like this is a stairwell. It's gonna feel dark and gloomy a lot of the time. It's gonna be stressful. I say, figure out what you like to do to relieve stress, but it's gonna take some energy. You have to climb. And climbing that's your legs, your calves, things are gonna hurt. Growth, it comes out of that pain. So know that this is not a hoverboard type of ride, right? We don't do those. Like it's not that smooth of a sailing. This is a climbing, and I didn't put a mountain up here. I put some steps, okay? So doing that step 3, climbing, building your foundation, building your team, and then saying, okay, I'm climbing these steps, because at the top is my house. It's across the street once you get to the top. That's important. That's important. It gets gloomy, but your house is at the top across the street, and that's the little lamp, that's the light at the top, the street light. You got bright street lights and everything. So just stay motivated, right? In step 3, because you've gotten past those hurdles of saving. Now it's about your team. So finally, the loan application, this is like, let's go back for a second. I do still have a little bit of time. I'm gonna wrap it up here. And this is what I'll break down in individual sessions with my clients. It's not something that you have to keep in mind, but if you wanna jot these down really quick, this is the application process. So it's just like going to college, or it's just like if you were on Indeed.com looking for a job and it says, what are the qualifications of the job? Do you have these qualifications? Do you have these qualifications for the loan application? Your credit score, do you pay your bills on time? Let me see here. Oops, sorry. Do you pay your bills on time? Do you have a minimum 640 credit score? Do you have 4 references? Just like a job. Hey, I need to talk to 3 people that you used to work for. Okay, I need to talk to 4 creditors that you pay monthly. Your car notes, student loans, 4 places, credit cards, gas and electric bill. We can use non-traditionals for FHA loans. So we need 4 references, and we need that credit score to be a 640, but also that credit history has to say that everything has been paid on time for a year, 1 solid year. The credit reports only hold information for 2 years, but they're saying 1 year. They just want 1 year of a clean slate. Capacity, do you make enough to make the mortgage payment? If you're asking for a $250,000 loan, but you're only making $30,000 a year, that may not be an approval, because you're going to only get what you make. They're not going to put you in a payment of $1,500 or $22,000. And you're only bringing in $2,500 a month. So that won't happen. So getting that insight with the counselor prior to going, I don't want anybody to have hopes up when they go to a lender and then they're disappointed. We've already talked about all these things. Capital, do you have enough saved? Like I said, $2,000 to $3,000. Now that doesn't mean that I haven't helped people buy homes when they had $800 in the bank. I just don't like to do it. It does happen where they're like, I see that their job, they will still be successful. And so they have the down payment assistance. They paid the down payment assistance was $5,000. They got into the home. It just was it was an interesting situation. It rarely happens, but lenders, if you have $700 or $1,000 saved, as long as you're able to pay for that home inspection and, however other things get paid, your upfront fees, they're okay with it. They do want to see something in the bank. So there's, like I said, all different kinds of ways around this, but I want to prove it unless I know you're going to be successful. Like, I don't want you to be broke the next month, the next year. That's not how this works. That's not wealth. So we're really going to, building that foundation is first. Collateral, that's something we'll talk about in counseling sessions, but the property has to be worth it. And finally, things about bankruptcies. We'll get into more of these, what this really means for people that file bankruptcy. Does have to be discharged for 2 years for FHA. You do need to reestablish 3 lines of credit, and they do have to be active for 1 year. For disputes, I typically send out validation letters. I do not want my clients talking to their creditors. Like once you're my client, do not talk to your creditors. You'll only ask them to send you things in writing. You've given me permission to work on your behalf, to speak to your creditors. So I will do that talking for you, or we'll be on a 3-way call, that kind of thing. But I'm here to make sure that you're successful, and we don't need anybody trying to take some money that, is for the house. Like, okay, a lot of people want to pay debt off, and I'm like, wait, let me see if I can get this off your credit first. Paying off liens and judgment, that's something I cannot do when they're county and state and federal. We have to come up with a savings idea to get that stuff off the credit. But as far as paying collections, you want to meet with a counselor first, because you do not want to pay your collections. Like, that is something that I think everybody likes to do at the beginning of the year, is pay off these collections that are 5, 6 years old, 3 years old. And that money, instead of settling, you can have for your house down payment. So work with a housing counselor before you pay off collections, for sure.
Hey, Ms.
Yes.
Irons, can I jump in real quick?
Yes.
This is amazing. We have Mark Harrell. He said that I have 9 out of 10 of these requirements. What would be my next step?
All right, setting up an appointment. Appointment for sure. So we can, because then you're putting, this is exactly what I'm looking for, is that you all are checking, you're putting yourself on a timeline. Like, oh, I have this, I got this done, I got, it's great to know when you have the information in front of you. It's great to know that you're able to say that, to place yourself on the timeline. So definitely, let's take a peek at everything and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The final piece of budget, a home requires future maintenance. So we'll always budget what that future maintenance will look like. We'll look at the home inspection report and see what major repairs are going to come up. And if you can afford those major repairs, it could be why you walk away from a home, because it's like, okay, need a new furnace in 2 years. What if that's really next month? Can you afford it? I don't want my clients in the house that they, are house poor again. Like, so coming up with that post-purchase budget is going to be huge, 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 huge. The final step, and there are so many other steps, but just as far as what you can digest tonight, is to stay on the path. Stay on the path. It's a goal, make it happen. Again, the criteria is there. It just has to be met. And that whole equal opportunity for all, let's take it, let's say, okay, I'm going to stand up to that then. If there's equal opportunity for all, fair housing for all, I'm going to stand up to it. I'm going to challenge it, because that means I'll get a house. I'm going to leave it open. I have 6 minutes. I'm sorry if I ran through that. I just wanted to make sure that I got through it. I'm open for questions, comments, anything that you all want to share with us tonight is welcome.
Yes, thank you so much again, Ms. Irons. Some great information, great information. We do have a couple of questions here. One from Ms. Tiffy, which is, are there special circumstances for self-employed people?
Okay, so for self-employed, they want to see 2 years tax returns, and they'll more than likely take your net. They're not looking at the gross. So they'll take that net for the 2 years, add it and divide it by 2 to come up with your annual gross income. And then that's going to be based, that annual gross income from that average is then going to tell them how much house you can afford. So that's the only thing, is that they're looking for, sometimes they do want to see 12 months bank statements, but that is in the case that you haven't filed your taxes. So, and that's something that, you just want to make sure that you file taxes. Now, there are, again, ways around it, which would be doing month-to-month profit and loss statements for my self-employed out there who haven't filed for this year, but they're ready to buy a house. And they're like, I still don't know if I'm going to file, file if you can. But if, let's say next year, say you file, but then you're in the middle of next year and you're like, oh my goodness, what do I do? Just start doing those month-to-month profit and loss statements. What came in, what did you keep, what was your gross and your net, and then your month-to-month bank statements. Make sure that aligns. If you have a business account, they're going to want to see those things. So just always keep in mind they need those taxes, but without those taxes, you'll have to do month-to-month profit and loss, and then show month-to-month bank statements for 12 months. In 2
Wow,
years.
I think we have a special guest. I'm so sorry. We have a special guest that wants to jump on, none other than Mr. Green. Mr. Green, you have the floor.
Season's greetings, everyone. Can you see me?
You're on mute.
There
you go. There you go.
That's because y'all muted me. Somebody gonna get rolled up today, but it's okay. First of all, thank you so much to everybody that's on. I really love to jump on here sometimes and kind of see, the folks that are on and taking in this information, because this information, we give a lot of free nuggets out each week. I want to give a big shout out to our new housing counselor, Keisha Irons. She has been an amazing addition to our team. For how long have you been with us now, Keisha?
Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. When I first interviewed her, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be a good fit, but when I brought her on, I think it was just amazing. Now, just playing. So Keisha has been super amazing, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all please get a counseling session in with her. And she's gonna walk you through the home ownership process from A to Z. And I'm just so proud of everything that she's been doing thus far. And all of the information today has been so great. I don't know how you're gonna get Africa from stop buying shoes. She has a shoe disorder. That's all she does is buy shoes, and she's a vegan. So I don't understand how somebody who loves shoes and is a vegan is going to be able to cut down those expenses without asking me for a raise. So we will give love to Africa and pray for her along the way. So, man, I'm just proud of everybody. I hope everybody has gotten all this good information and is going to do something with it. Make that next step and make it worthwhile. You know, this is the home ownership process is so important, and we got to make sure that everybody is on path to owning a piece of property. I got a new brand that's launching next year, and it's called My Legacy. And it's all about generational wealth. It's all about making sure that we own something. It's all about making sure that we're educated and investing back into ourselves, into our community. So love y'all so much. Have an amazing new year. I hope y'all can come to the New Year's Eve Bash, which is a benefit for My Turn to Own, and stay connected to us and make sure that you're joining in as much as you can on Wealthy Wednesdays. We're at 7:00, so I'll let you guys wrap. Great job to the whole team. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this discussion today.
Thank you. Any last minute questions? If I put my email in there, but again, just following us, you can get in touch. I'm always sending out email alerts, so just let us know what we can do. Thank you all.
If there are no more comments or questions, we want to thank everybody again. Ms. Carmen, I see you with the shoe disorder.
Carmen.
Thank you, Ms. Irons. You were amazing. Please go to www.myturnToOwn.org for any follow-up, any questions you have for Ms. Irons or any of us at the team. We are here to help you. We're here to support you. We are your team. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you all next Wednesday at Wealthy Wednesday.
Congratulations for taking the first step. Keep taking those steps, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Ms. Chrissy, Ms. Mobile. I see Mr. Martin is on from the office. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you all. Good night.
Good night.
Everyone stay safe. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Great meeting, everyone. Good night. Thank you, Ms. Irons. Thank you, Ms. Africa.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see so many new faces here tonight. We all in this together.